What do you see? Your companion asks you. Shh. You instinctively hush them without thinking. Listening intently, your eyes clamped shut, you take the occasional sniff. You take in everything your new magical companion experiences. At first it was overwhelming as you smelled, tasted, saw, and heard, and even felt the environment in two separate places at once. However, you quickly took control, allowed each to flow freely, and now you simply stamp one out when needed. Instinctive, yet disciplined. You think to yourself, maybe my eyes do not need to be closed, but then you humbly feel it is helping to maintain your concentration. And perhaps discipline is not quite the right word to use just yet. Focusing your mind back to the task at hand, you take a quick, deep inhale through your nostrils. Sulfur dioxide. Very distinct. You would expect to smell it where you stand now in your own alchemical lab, but through your companion in a latrine? Come on. Is he in there? Shh. You hush your companion a second time. And with a little flapping of wings, the homunculus repositions itself to look over another wall. And through its eyes you spot a half-orc in the midst of his, shall we say, business. You watch him fumble with something in his hands, and then suddenly a flash of light and fire. The half-orc lets out a hefty cough. The light winks out in a puff and stream of smoke as he shakes the object in his hand. Sulfur dioxide again. But not before you take in a paralyzing whiff of methyl mercaptan. You let out your own dry hack. Unfortunately, you accidentally do it through your newly constructed ally. The half-orc jumps up. Who's there? And almost at the same time of being spotted, the half-orc reaches for the homunculus, knocking it askew mid-takeoff. It tumbles downward and plunges into the depths of the half-orc's throne of excrement. And all you can think is, this was a huge mistake. As your now scattered brain tries to ignore your connection to the creature, smells and flavors, most foul, flood you as you gag uncontrollably. Roll a Constitution saving throw.
Hey there, creatures, and welcome to Encounter This, a podcast exploration of the creatures from Dungeons & Dragons and the lore that surrounds them. Well, hello there, creatures. I've got my monster manual open and my notebook ready to go, so that must mean it's another episode of Encounter This. And I am your host, James, aka Frankenstein's Monster, and with me, as always, is Freeman, the Alchemist Easton.
Wait, did you say Frankenstein's monster?
Yeah.
Because I wrote Freemanstein's monster.
My brain auto-corrected that.
Damn it. That's fine. Did you know? We'll get right into that then.
Okay.
Did you know that Frankenstein is technically a homunculus?
I don't think that's true. I think Frankenstein is a Briton.
This does he have a
I think Frankenstein's
civil
monster
designation?
is a homunculus.
God damn it.
Victor von Frankenstein himself is a British citizen.
Actually, was Dr. Frankenstein English?
Yeah, he was English of German heritage.
Oh, okay, all right.
I mean, I'm prepared to be corrected on that. It's been probably 15 years since I've read Frankenstein, but
Yeah, fair enough. Well, there I was, just corrected like a good internet meme that it was actually Frankenstein's monster. Something I did know better of, just didn't think of it at the time.
I mean, it's written here, Freemanstein's monster.
I know.
It's hard to lord that over you when you did the work.
I still fucked it up. What are you gonna do?
It was just a common misstep. We were all brought up thinking Frankenstein was the
This
monster.
is true. Yeah. It was a classic 90s Halloween costume, Frankenstein's monster.
Oh yeah,
Everywhere you went,
that was not a 1990s book. That was a
Yeah, that was an early one.
1823, I think.
Well, anyway, we're going to talk about the homunculus.
Homunculus, eh?
Homunculus, yeah. It's on Monster Manual, page 36. And these guys are pretty cool.
I'm looking
nifty.
forward to it.
Yeah, I feel like there's homebrew could end up being quite the conversation. But, on the surface, with the 5e lore, there's not too much. They are pretty simple to understand. Homunculus is a construct, and they are created through magic and material components, and they act as an extension of their creator through a magical bond.
Okay.
They share thoughts, senses, languages, and to an extent, life. And if the creator dies, so does the homunculus. Conversely, the homunculus dies, its creator suffers damage. So,
okay. Is this similar? Is this like Soul Jar? Is that what the spell Soul Jar does? Does it create like a homunculus, or can you?
That's a good question. I don't think I've ever read the Soul Jar.
Okay.
But there is a mechanical method of creating one in the game, but we will definitely come to that a little bit later. Now, these shared features between a homunculus and its creator could stretch over a good distance. According to the Eberron setting, it is 1,500 feet, and provided the creator and the construct are on the same plane of existence. Now, outside of the Eberron setting, there is no specification. So it could just be simply on the same plane of existence. Could be interpreted that way, depending on how you want to look at it. I like the idea of having a cap on it, but there it is. The homunculus is crafted through rare ritual magic using clay, ash, and the spellcaster's own blood for materials. And sometimes the mandrake root is added to the recipe. This appears only in 5e.
People love the mandrake root this side of the year 2000, it seems like. And before anybody jumps on me, it is the spell Magic Jar, and that is not how it works.
Okay, then. There we go. A quick errata for us right out of the gate.
Oh, maybe it is. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But it is the spell Magic Jar. We'll look deeper into it later.
Magic Jar. Okay, cool. So these creations are very faithful, and they only amount to about the size of a squirrel. They are used for various things, such as being spies, emissaries, messengers, and sometimes even in secret magical experimentation. They are unable to speak aloud, but can communicate telepathically with their creator. As with the shared senses, they can use telepathy to transmit anything they see or hear as well.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I would imagine, as far as secret magical experimentation goes, they're used as a sort of proxy to get in close where it might be dangerous, that sort of thing.
Yeah, they kind of must be, or like a pair of second hands.
Exactly. They're the Igor. Ironically, they are the Igor of the situation. Even though Frankenstein's monster is the homunculus, these things seem to be created with the intention of being Igor, or taking Igor's role.
Yeah, or like the Minions from that Minions movie.
Right, that one.
Or Despicable Me.
No, I do know what you're talking about. I did not right away. I was like, "What the hell is that?" I've never seen it, but I do know what you mean. Okay. So in physical appearance, they resemble winged humanoid creatures, similar to gargoyles or tiny demons. If you look at the artwork, I would argue the humanoid part, and definitely lean towards the tiny demon part.
I think that's just a bipedal, is what they're
Yeah, fair enough.
to.
Yeah, they're not necessarily quadrupeds, but in some cases, mages will try to make them appear more human. So none of the artwork really reflects that, but I guess that's probably where the humanoid...
4E looks like it reflects that. These dudes look huge in 4E.
Oh, yeah, I suppose he does. Yeah, yep. Yeah, that artwork does make him look quite large, eh?
It's
hard
very
to imagine
confusing.
that thing the size of a squirrel.
Well, I mean, I could imagine it, but there's no way the wings can carry it. Like, mathematically,
sure.
that doesn't add up.
Yeah, but they're magical.
I mean, I think they're vestigial.
In any case, anytime we bring up the artwork, feel free to hop on our Instagram. It's encounter.this. And we'll always have that posted up with the episodes from here on out. And there's actually lots of stuff from the past episodes as well that I've been posting recently.
Which we don't own. We want to make it clear we're
Oh,
not
yeah,
claiming
no, we don't
ownership
own any
over
of
this
that.
artwork.
It is all appreciation for the artwork. Some of it as across as many editions as we can find. And there's a few so far. There's definitely a few extra pieces of artwork that are pretty nifty. But yeah, all credit goes to Wizards of the Coast and the various artists and writers that they employ and have employed.
Yes.
Now, as far as the homunculus go, there are some rare cases. Like I said, with the mages will try and make them look a little more human, and particularly vain mages are known to try to make them look like themselves. Apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't elaborate beyond that, but it's just a little extra flavor text. It seems.
I mean, why wouldn't you want a second version of yourself walking around?
Yeah, why not? With wings, no less.
Oh,
Now-
yeah. I guess it would still be tiny with wings, right?
Tiny with wings, yeah.
That'd be adorable.
That seems to be the standard, yeah.
Mini me.
Yeah. Now that's literally it for the 5e lore.
Shit.
That's it. Yeah, but luckily we have the Eberron setting for 5e now, and
Right. So
it
take
is
an
a-
Eberron.
yeah. And what's fun about this is I love the Eberron setting. I think it's not quite up your alley. It does that a strong mix of technology into the fantasy setting.
Yeah, it's
and-
not what I wanted a 5e.
Right. And the 5e game that I'm playing with my friend Max TM, and he's a custom world, but it's very Eberron inspired. It's a lot of airships and he's included like biomancy and various things like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Wizards straight up don't exist in the current state of his world. Like the magic has almost entirely disappeared. Yet you still have this technology and a lot of magic being driven in a mysterious way. It's pretty nifty. But in the Eberron setting, artificing is a very prominent component, and homunculi play a more significant role and come in wider varieties of shape and size. I believe Eberron, I don't know how far back it was first introduced, but I think it might be around 3.5e.
Somebody will tell us. People love Eberron.
Yeah. They appear in various sorts books, up to and including Eberron campaign setting, Magic of Eberron, City of Stormreach, Faiths of Eberron, Five Nations, and even a dungeon magazine publication called Critical Threat, Lord of Blades. All of these things mention homunculus in some form or another. And Lord of Blades, specifically, a little side bit, is a famous Warforged leader who had two homunculi named Hilt and Pommel.
I have questions about that.
Sure. Yeah.
Is a Warforged not a homunculi to begin with?
That's a very good question. I don't 100% know the lore. It's been a while since I read it on the Warforged. They wouldn't be far off the mark, though. Now, that being said, I think Warforged were created... don't quote me on this. I think they were created without magic first. They were more clockwork.
Oh, okay.
And if I'm wrong about that, they were a mixture of the two. But then a huge magical event happens in the world of Eberron, and within that area where they have the Five Nations, and it basically granted them sentience.
Is this
So
okay? This sounds very similar to Hellboy 2 in the Golden Army. Do you remember that movie?
I do remember that movie. It's been a while, but I remember really enjoying it.
It's good. I like it. Yeah. Highly endorse Hellboy 2.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So are they like Warforged?
I love both those films actually. What's that? Sorry.
So are they like Warforged though? Is what I'm getting at.
Are homunculi like Warforged?
No, are the Golden Army? Are they similar to Warforged? Like they're kind of clockwork, kind of magic.
Yeah, I guess so. I want to say yes, but it really has been long enough that I don't remember the details on the Golden Army. But I would say it wouldn't be too big a stretch to make that comparison.
Yeah. Write in and tell us, listeners. Somebody out there knows.
Yeah, tell us how you feel. Warforged are a playable race in that setting. I'm actually currently playing one, playing a Warforged artificer, which is give you a little extra insight in exactly this topic, which is pretty fun. But
that's good.
That is, for the most part, the lore behind it in Dungeons & Dragons. Despite that, what's there, that's about it. for homunculi as a creature or entity itself. They're very tied into many other things, it would seem, especially more the alchemy or artificer side of things, and obviously the Warforged to a degree. But for all intents and purposes, they are a very simple creature. They really only exist if someone decides to create one, and they basically serve a master. They don't have a mind of their own. They are not. They don't have circumstances in which they are more highly intelligent and function on their own, unless you count the Warforged creation.
Right.
But otherwise, yeah, very simple lore-wise for Dungeons and Dragons.
It's like a stepping stone to a golem.
Yeah, actually, and I think coming up in the notes here, there's going to be a slight reference to that.
Oh, excellent! I love golems.
Yeah. And actually, I think it relies a little bit more on leans a little bit more into the real world history, which we're going to go into right now.
Awesome. Let's check that out.
So, the concept for a homunculus specifically was popularized in the 16th century, and then gained momentum in fiction during the 19th century.
Okay.
So. Obviously, you're looking at Mary Shelley's Frankenstein monster. That's probably around the time that picked up.
I was going to say Gutenberg's printing press.
Yeah, and I wrote here in my the notes. You could probably see that it became popular in fiction. 3 centuries later, and I just wrote tomato. It's fiction across the board, right? So alchemy, some might argue, has like some provable merits, but it's since its inception, it's gone through lots of ludicrous things that just aren't true.
As somebody who's read a lot of alchemist books and really looked into the theory of alchemy, I can tell you that it's all hot garbage these days.
Oh yeah, it ultimately it comes down to more of a philosophy as opposed to an actual applied science. Not that they didn't try to apply the science.
And the philosophy is kind of weak from the books I've read by more modern guys. It's all like crystal healing and hot.
Right. Yeah.
I don't want to offend anybody, but I do not believe or condone in crystal healing. Medicine is a real thing that we do. We should keep up with medicine.
Pseudoscience is fun to research and look at and explore, but it is not fun to lean on. All sorts of dangers there. And speaking of pseudoscience, alchemy first appeared in the writings of someone named Paracelsus. He was a Swiss physician, an alchemist, and lay theologian, specifically meaning he had no formal training in theology. And he was also a philosopher, and he lived from approximately 1493, 1494, is about his birth, to 1541.
So he lived in like the golden age of science.
Is that the golden age of science?
Well, it's kind of like the birth of science. That's where like Tycho Brahe and Hubble were around.
Okay, sure.
Like that's when astronomy really kind of started to pick up its steam in the late 1400s, early 1500s.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay.
Astronomy?
So for him, astronomy? Yeah, not astrology.
Okay, thank
you. Unless you're thinking astrology.
No. I mean the real one, not the.
I
not
did.
The fake one.
Speaking of pseudoscience, I actually did the same pause, but like not audibly, and I was like, "Did he say the right one? Did he say the right one?" Do you have to correct him? No, you got it. So. As far as Paracelsus goes, specifically, he has a book called De Homunculis. Not up to 100% up to snuff on my Latin pronunciations. And the book was released between 1529 and 1532. And also another book called De Natura Rerum, which I'm reasonably sure I pronounced right, which is around 1537. And not to be confused with De Rerum Natura, which means on the nature of things. I could not figure out what the other one might mean. I'm sure it's not much different, though.
The thing of nature.
In particular, yeah, the thing of nature. That one in particular was written by a Roman poet and philosopher named Lucretius. Now, for Paracelsus, I think it's in De Homunculis, he outlines the creation of a homunculus. So I'm going to read you an excerpt from that.
Oh, please.
Get ready for this.
I'm going to strap myself in.
This is probably my favorite part, okay, of this whole show already. Okay.
I'm ready.
Quote, that the sperm of a man be putrefied by itself in a sealed cucurbit, which is a gourd, Gourd, sealed in this cucurbit for 40 days with the highest degree of putrefaction in a horse's womb, or at least so long that it comes to life and moves itself and stirs, which is easily observed. After this, it will look somewhat like a man, but transparent, without a body. If, after this, it be fed wisely with the arcanum of human blood, and be nourished for up to 40 weeks, and be kept in the even heat of the horse's womb, a living human child grows therefrom, and with all its members like another child, which is born of a woman, but much smaller.
So do you want to take on the translation for that, or should
I? So you take some sperm from a man, and you let it curdle inside of a gourd inside of a horse's womb.
Yeah. So you
40
fuck a
days.
squash and then stick that squash in a horse.
Right. Exactly. Stick that inside a horse's womb. It doesn't specify if the horse is alive or not, but it does say that if you keep it in there in the even heat.
Based on this time frame, it kind of has to be.
It kind of, yeah.
So
has
you
to be
fuck
alive,
a gourd.
Or
yeah. So you fuck a gourd and put it in a horse's womb for 40 days, and then it'll start to move.
It starts to move,
and it will kind of
apparently
form
starts to
into
look
a
somewhat like
ghost.
a man.
Yeah,
but it has no body. Yeah,
and you have to start giving it magic blood for another 40 weeks.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then it will come out as a very, very small human being.
Correct. As if it was born from a woman, it'll have all the same pieces and extremities.
I think this is the first time on the show we've ever suggested that you give a ghost magical human blood, but.
It makes me wonder how much someone who writes that believed it, or if he was honestly just doing what we're doing and practicing our creative writing.
Well, I mean,
and then someone
that is demonstrable. Like he could test this. I mean, it wouldn't
could
work.
technically
Like
test it.
You could not. I'm telling you, listeners, I have no experience with horses or fucking squashes, but I can tell you for a fact that you could not keep a squash inside of a horse's womb for 40 weeks and 40 days.
Not a thing. It's not a thing.
It's just not possible.
So that is our foundational outline for the creation of a homunculus.
I like it.
IRL. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good.
It's better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be the same origin as the gargoyle, if you remember that. A man just sculpts it out of clay and then emotes so hard at it that it comes to life.
That's right. Yeah. No, this one takes a little bit more work. Well, no, I just sculpting. I don't know.
Imagine having to tape a horse's womb shut for 40 weeks. Like this takes way more work. You gotta get magic human blood. Like there's so many.
This does not support any attempts at trying these experiments.
Not in this particular way. No, we disagree with this experiment. Scientifically, yes. We can just talk this out, and it's wrong.
Yeah.
However, if you do want to sculpt something of clay and emote at it real hard, we'd be interested to hear the results.
Yeah, please send us a video of you emoting at a clay sculpture. That'd be lovely.
Oh God, yes.
Add us on Twitter.
If it's too big, email us at info@encounterthis.ca.
So from there, we'll get into a few sort of historical comparisons to this sort of original homunculus idea. There's been a number made through the centuries for sure. Despite the fact that the word homunculus was never used, there is a famed Swiss psychiatrist or psychoanalyst known as Carl Jung. You might be familiar with to some degree. He didn't use the word homunculus, but he did posit the first mention of the concept comes from the vision of Zosimos, in which Zosimos of Panopolis, an Egyptian-born Greek alchemist and mystic from the 3rd and 4th centuries, describes a sequence of dreams related to alchemy. In the visions, he relates proto-science to religious experiences, and specific to this topic, he encounters a priest who changes into, quote, the opposite of himself into a mutilated anthroparian. So anthroparian is Greek, is the Greek word for diminutive form of a person, which makes it very similar to the other real-life homunculus description. Essentially, it is a mini person.
And for those of you who are confused by Egyptian-born Greek, in the third through 6th century, Panopolis was an Egyptian city occupied by Greek or Romans eventually.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
modern day Alchemy, I think.
Yeah, I feel like you're right. I feel like I read that. It rings a bell anyway.
Spoiler: this comes up in the next episode we're about to record.
Amazing. All right then. How quaint? It was quaint. Quaint's not the word I was looking for.
Coincidental.
Seguacious. That's a
Yep.
word I just made up.
I love it.
And I'm sticking
That's going to
by
be
it.
our first T-shirt. Encounter this seguacious.
A seguacious of a time.
Yeah. Hit
No,
us
that
up on
doesn't work at all.
Twitter or Instagram if you want a seguacious T-shirt.
It's like the combination of segue and delicious. Seguacious.
I'm into it. I think we should lean in.
I think we should. Let's
Get
do
a seguacious coffee mug.
it. Just pretty on the front.
Yeah. I'm in. I'm in. I'm on board. You sold me.
So we've got what was the name of the city you said it was called?
I think it's Alchemy.
Alchemy, okay.
Or Alchemy.
Alchemy, okay. We'll move on. Another comparison comes from the concept of takwin. I have no idea if I'm saying that right. It is Arabic, I believe, or possibly Hebrew. It is a concept. It is a philosophy, is a goal of Muslim alchemists, and notably Jabir ibn Hayyan. Again, I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. Is sort of the forefront of Muslim alchemists in this concept, or this goal, this philosophy. Takwin refers to the creation of synthetic life in a laboratory.
Okay.
Up to and including human life. And so there's a quick fun fact about that particular. There's not much on it, to be honest, but this fun fact might explain why. It is unsure if Jabir ibn Hayyan meant this literally, this concept, this takwin, and this goal for synthetic life in a laboratory. The reason it's not sure if it's meant to be taken literally is because he was famous for a book called The Book of Stones. And it is known that he deliberately wrote it in a highly esoteric code, meaning only those initiated into his alchemical school could understand what is written in it and know which
Amazing.
parts are meant to be symbolic or taken literally.
That is
And
amazing.
Isn't that cool? Yeah, so we really have no idea if it was like, something to pass over, because he had it all coded, and essentially, and you would have to have your sort of key, if you will, to get in there.
Does this book still exist today? Can we buy this?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I did not look that up, but I would imagine. Yeah, I don't. That's a very good question. It would be cool if it does exist. I'm sure we could find a PDF somewhere.
Yeah, and we'll
get
look
the
at the
copyright
show
law
notes
anymore.
for sure if it's still around.
Yeah,
That sounds incredible.
super cool. Yeah, and then we have yet another comparison that appears in Paracelsis's writings in a 16th
Are we
century
sold
book.
on that pronunciation?
Sorry. Yeah, that's one I looked up.
Okay, cool.
I actually, I'm not up to date on my Latin pronunciation in total, but I did go out of my way for this one in particular, and
No,
I'm
that's-
like 99% sure it is Paracelsus.
Okay, I've just always heard it Paracelsus, but it could be one of those Genghis Khan kind of things. Like it's just always
Right,
been wrong
yeah,
in
yeah,
pop culture. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a. I recall there being a specific guide of, if the C is followed by this or preceded by that, then it is a CH sound kind of thing.
Okay, cool.
So that's the sort of thing I came across, and then I kind of skimmed through the rest, so I didn't really log it. But yeah, I have to recant. Yet another appears after Paracelsus' writings, not in his writings.
Right.
And this comparison appears in a 16th century book called The Chemical Wedding of Christian Rosenkreutz. It was anonymously authored. Yeah, chemical with a CHY. It was an anonymously authored book, but it is attributed to Johannes Valentinus Andre, a German theologian. And in the book, it's basically an allegorical book, and it finishes with the creation of two homunculi, a male and a female. And this was meant to suggest that the goal of alchemy was not chrysopoeia, I think it's pronounced, which is the classic transmutation into gold via the Philosopher's Stone, but rather the ultimate goal of alchemy was the artificial generation of human life, or synthetic creation.
As far as I've read, that is actually true. Even in Newton's notes, that's what he was looking for, was kind of the synthetic creation of human life. Not
So isn't that Isn't that funny how must be pop culture that has attributed that idea of transmutation to gold as the forefront? Like, why else would we think about it other than that? Like, it never occurred to me that Frankenstein was necessarily an alchemist who was trying to create a homunculus. You know?
Well, I think technically Frankenstein was a galvanist. If we're being
okay, sure,
we're being pedantic.
Yeah.
But that was part of that whole era, right? Like in the early 18th century, when Mary Shelley was writing it, the new Renaissance period, people were super into galvanization and what it could do. It was at the forefront of science. That's where we get things like the basis of things like CTE. We definitely don't get cognitive electrotherapy there, but we do get the basis laid down there. So it was used pretty heavily in science. And it was proven that you could shock a body and make its limbs dance. So, Mary Shelley, being an educated woman, took that to the next step during their horror novel-a-thon.
Sure, yeah. Pretty nifty. I've never read Frankenstein, but I feel like I need to now.
It's good. Like all of so I think there's 3 books that come out of that. There's Shelley's 1923 Frankenstein. There's Mary Shelley's 1923 Frankenstein. There's Percy Shelley's 1927 vampire novel, which I can't remember the title of, and there's a collective works of body short stories by Lord Byron that's also absolutely excellent.
Well, I mean, let's just put those on the reading list. Why not?
Yeah.
What have we got to lose? If you write those down because you know them, that'd be awesome. The I need to make more time for reading. That's for sure. I'm so bad at that.
Well, it's funny that you say that. This week's episode is brought to us by Audible, for when you don't have time to read real books like a grown-up.
I caught up my podcast so I can use that more.
This episode is not brought to you by Audible, and we highly recommend reading paper books, though Audible is an excellent service, and I use it. If they want to sponsor us, that's a sample of the ad that they can have.
Yeah, there you go. I've used it plenty myself previously. I've unsubscribed for the moment, just so, again, catching up on the podcast. So once I'm caught up there, I'll probably put a little more effort into that for sure.
Right. Well, I mean,
go back to some audiobooks.
Frankenstein's also like a novella. Like, you crush it in an afternoone. It's like 200 pages. It's not a big book. Yeah, none of the books from that time are very big. Like Bram Stoker's Dracula, I think is like 180 pages. Like these are afternoon beach books.
Okay, cool. All right, easy. I'll do that then. I'll do that soon. I'll report back in, listeners. Don't worry about it.
I'm excited to hear your thoughts on the ending.
Okay. So we'll get a touch into a little bit where homunculus falls into a bit of folklore. There's not too much here, but it does not appear, homunculus specifically does not appear prior to 16th century alchemy writings, essentially. Obviously, alchemy goes much farther back. We've already talked about as far back as 3rd century, but...
I think it goes even farther back, if I'm not mistaken.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because Islamic scholars were way ahead of the West, and they kind of just labeled all that shit magic.
Yeah. Probably, yeah. They in their own right, they had their own sort of golden age of science, right?
Islam led the way for science for a long time, and it's kind of been buried by white culture, but it's really interesting. They invented mathematics, navigation. Like, there's a reason we use the Arabic number system, and it's because the Roman system was bullshit and clunky.
Yeah. Total side note, I just came across a video I'd seen many times the other day, but Carl Sagan, famous astrophysicist, he was famous in the 70s especially, I think, and he was so good at explaining science and physics in a sort of layman's terms, and really good at demonstrating some of the more fascinating aspects of physics. And there's just a quick little he's referencing in that area of the world how they knew the world was round based on how shadows worked off of like obelisks they had built, and it's cool. It's really fascinating. And he's literally just got like a little a flat piece of like Bristol board with 2 fake obelisks on it, and he just shows you in the sun how, when he bends it and versus when it's straight, how the shadows work. And it's fascinating. It's a very simple way of and he calculated the curvature of the earth with very, very little. Basically, his eyes and the shadows and the timing of the sun, and he hired someone to walk and count the steps, and he was like really, really close to the accuracy. It's incredible.
All you need is like a straight edge. Yeah.
Yeah, and Carl Sagan like just breaks it down. So I love that guy. Since this episode's so scientific, everyone go watch some Carl Sagan.
Yeah, shout out to Sagan and everybody who
lovely.
came after him. Bill Nye, Michio Kaku, Neil deGrasse Tyson's the newest one.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
They've had their polarizing moments in the media, but at the core, their teachings and stuff about science are so cool.
Yeah,
they're super cool.
And shout out to Miss Frizzle.
Oh yes. Shout out to who?
Miss Frizzle.
Miss Frizzle. Amazing. Yes. What a treat.
Okay. Take me away from science and back into folklore.
Yeah, let's get to folklore. So obviously there's some comparison in other folklore, namely golems, like you had just brought up, which are from Jewish folklore specifically. And I didn't really look into that, but that is a really big, commonly compared creature and historical idea. And the mandragora, specifically, is commonly compared, and I'm guessing this is that just like classic comparison is why it's been added into 5e as like a component option.
Oh, okay.
And the mandragora plant in particular it's a real life plant and is known for hallucinogenic and narcotic properties.
I love both those words in a sentence together.
Yeah. And Jean-Baptiste Pitois wrote a book called The History and Practice of Magic, and it talks about the mandragora with reference to the homunculus. And so get ready for recipe number 2.
Recipe number 2, I'm fucking here and ready for it.
No, I don't think the recipe touches on it, but just a quick side note: the mandragora, I believe, was famous for like it's like a plant. If you pulled it out of the ground willy nilly, it would scream or shriek, and the shriek would kill you instantly. It was so piercing.
If I remember my Harry Potter, that is correct.
It is, yes. And we all know Harry Potter is at the forefront of actual science. Okay, so, quote, "Would you like to make a mandragora as powerful as the homunculus? Little man in a bottle, so praised by Paracelsus. Then find a root of the plant called brioni, which is a wild hop. Take it out of the ground on a Monday, the day of the moon. A little time after the vernal equinox, which is in March. Cut off the ends of the root and bury it at night in some country churchyard in a dead man's grave. For 30 days, water it with cow's milk in which 3 bats have been drowned." I thought I was going to get through it.
Okay. I was wondering what that scratching sound was.
No, it's me laughing. Okay.
I'm leaning so far back from my mic.
It's just a good. When the 31st day arrives, take out the root in the middle of the night and dry it in an oven heated with branches of verbena, a perennial flowering plant. Then wrap it up in a piece of a dead man's winding sheet or shroud and carry it with you everywhere. End quote.
Okay. What is the next step to the goddamn recipe?
I have no idea. To be fair, his book is called The History and Practice of Magic, not the history, practice, and results of magic.
I mean, the result is apparently a badass mandragoria, but like we just get to like a weird pocket turnip.
Oh my god.
Covered in a sheet.
They just made shit up, man. I'm crying over it. It's killing me.
I said it before and I'll say it again, but the past was a wild place.
Oh man. So it really makes you wonder why people say, "Well, it's been around for so long, it must make it true." No, it's not how it works.
In fact, that's kind of evidenced against things. It seems like
it's exactly why we don't believe in crystal healing.
Oh my god,
it was unreliable then, and it's unreliable now.
Well, time's been around since the dawn of time. Well, yeah, and we were wrong. It's not time. It's space time.
We've been wrong many times. Yeah. Oh man.
Like, it's the
Okay,
oldest
so-
measurable concept that I can think of, and we were so wrong about it.
So 2 beautiful recipes for a homunculus and a mandragora as powerful as a homunculus. Then we'll get to a few honorable mentions before we move into mechanics.
Excellent. Excellent.
Historically-
I don't want to advocate that you try this one because I don't love the drowning of bats. I love bats.
Yeah. The purposeful
However-
drowning of bats in cow's milk is a bit much.
If you find some cow's milk where 3 bats accidentally drowned and you want to send us some photos of you trying this experiment, we will upvote you. We will give you a platform to speak on. The bats have to be accidentally drowned.
It's got to be humanely and naturally drowned in cow's milk, and then we'll throw our support behind you.
Ideally not endangered bats.
I
Encounter This is a pro-bat podcast.
100%, 100%. They're so cool. Honorable mentions. History. A historical honorable mention comes. I did. That's how I
Throw
wrote.
history in
I
there.
did. I don't know. I feel like I feel like when I wrote the notes of this, I was like, oh, this one's more historical. This one's more pop culture. So maybe there's some other ones. So I started writing before each one, history, pop culture, and it just turned out to be history, pop culture, pop culture, pop culture, pop culture.
I'm excited to see where this goes. Like, how many honorable mentions can you have from pop culture?
There are 5.
Okay,
So
let's. I'm gonna stop crying and we can do this.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Our historical honorable mention comes from an Austrian count named Johann Ferdinand von Kufstein and an Italian cleric named Abbe Geloni. Reputedly, they created 10 homunculi with the ability to see in the future. Kufstein kept them in glass containers in his Masonic lodge in Vienna. And there is a Masonic handbook called Die Sphinx, written by Dr. Emil Bezetsny. A whole chapter is apparently dedicated to the to what are called, and bear with me here, Vorsagenden Geister. Vorsagenden Geister. It means scrying ghosts in German or Austrian, I'm assuming. These ghosts have apparently been seen by several people, including local dignitaries, but that's about all I could really find on it without actually getting a hold of the book myself.
Okay.
So there's yet another weird thing to throw under the Masonic Lodge belts. That's totally weird and gnarly, and they'll probably hunt me down and kill me for that comment.
I don't think so. They spend most of their time these days riding around in go-karts with fez hats, if the Simpsons have taught me correct.
That's not the Masons, that's the Shriners.
I thought they were the same
I
thing.
don't know the difference, but I know they're called Shriners.
I think Shriners are Masons. I'm prepared to be corrected
wouldn't
by
be
anybody who's
surprised.
one or the other.
They are a fraternity lodge of some kind. That's for sure. Related or not, probably lots of just weird old white men doing terrible things in the background.
Yeah. Probably.
Our first pop culture reference comes from our lovely Sir Thomas Browne. I think I'm now suddenly realizing that this one actually should say history, not pop culture. But maybe it's both.
Well,
maybe it's both, because we referenced Sir Thomas Browne.
this whole thing feels like pop culture.
Yeah. The Masons are pop culture.
You can't have history of a fictitious creature.
Yeah, I guess that just makes it pop culture. Is that how that works?
I think it just makes it lore. I think
Yeah.
pop culture has to be in the forefront of culture.
Right. Okay. Well, our lovely Sir Thomas Browne, who we've mentioned previously in Unicorns, and his book Pseudodoxia Epidemica, or I'm going to do this again because it's so great, also known as Inquiries into Very Many Received Tenets and Commonly Presumed Truths. Such a great title for a book. He also wrote a book
fantastic
called Religio Medici, or The Religion of a Doctor, in which he simply states...
Interesting choice of words.
Yeah. He was a cheeky son of a bitch.
Yep.
In this book, he simply states, I am not of Paracelsus' mind that boldly delivers a receipt to make a man without conjunction.
Okay, so he comes out hard against homunculi.
Yeah, basically. He's like, what a bunch of bullshit. But much more eloquently said. I mean, I don't know much about Religio Medici or the religion of a doctor. I can only assume, based on what little research I've done so far, is that it is probably a very tongue-in-cheek title. And I mean, he himself, I believe, was a doctor, and probably specifically chose that for the paradoxical nature of the title.
Right. I'll reach out to Justin and Sydney of Sawbones fame and see if they'll do an episode on Religio Medici.
That would be
and,
awesome.
If they do, I'll link that in the show notes.
Yeah. Oh, check out Sawbones. So good.
Yeah, they're wonderful.
So we also have a Romanian academic, Professor Radu Florescu. Suggests,
what a good name.
Right?
Holy shit.
Actually, when I wrote that, I thought, man, that's an NPC right there. Professor Radu Florescu.
Steal that.
I'm also betting that I'm pronouncing it terribly wrong because I have no idea what the Romanian language even sounds like.
Oh, Romanian.
He was Romanian, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I got nothing.
So he suggested that Johann Conrad Dippel, an alchemist born in Castle Frankenstein, may have been the primary influence of Mary Shelley's Victor Frankenstein. The construction of Frankenstein's monster was done through alchemical means. That was his claim, essentially.
Right.
So
that actually makes sense.
Right.
Johann Conrad Dippel is actually credited as being the inspiration
straight
for
up
von
credited,
Frankenstein.
Yeah? Cool. Yeah.
Not by Mary Shelley herself, but there's, if I remember correctly, there's evidence that Percy Shelley introduced him a couple of times.
Okay,
And
cool.
Conrad Dippel was pretty into galvanism.
Right. Interesting. So cool. So that one's a proper pop culture reference, I would say.
Why do I know so much about this?
I don't know. Why didn't you do the research?
I don't know either. Where did I get this
is a great
information
one.
from?
Well, you did say you read a whole bunch of alchemy books, so you must have picked it up along the way somewhere.
Yeah, but like, how do I
lost
know so
info.
much about Mary Shelley's life? I mean, she's great. I love her.
Yeah.
I'm on board.
Maybe you had a
with
schoolboy
Mary
crush
Shelley.
on her or something.
I guess maybe. I don't know.
And so we've also got the play Faust Part 2, also known as Faust, the second part of the tragedy. The second part of the tragedy.
What a good name. Faust Part 2, the second part.
No. So that's two separate titles for it. Faust Part
I know,
2.
but I want it to be the same one.
So this is written by playwright Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. Famously, it features an alchemically created homunculus. The character embodies the quest of a pure spirit to be born in a mortal body, which contrasts the title character Faust's own desire to shed his mortal body to become a pure spirit. This represents an alchemical idea that the soul is not imprisoned in the body, but instead may find its brightest state as it passed through the material plane. That's sort of a quote from an idea about this play.
Right.
I thought that was pretty interesting because it kind of it steps back a bit to what we were saying, where there was a bit of alchemy as a philosophy, and there was this taqwin in Muslim alchemy where it's a goal, and so that was a very strong symbolism in that play in regards to whether or not the soul is imprisoned in a body and whether or not it can drift to and from.
Yeah, and fun fact, Faust is my second favorite opera.
Well, there you go. I don't
Yeah, it's
think
by Charles Gounod.
I don't think I've ever seen or listened to an opera at all. I'm
It's
sure
really
I've
good.
listened to some songs for sure, but it's never been.
For sure.
It's become more of an interest of mine, I guess. When I was younger, I used to think, opera, dumb, and
Right.
now I'm just like opera. God, that's impressive.
It really is. It's incredible.
But something I've not dipped my toes into too much.
Yeah, so the Faust opera is based on Johann Wolfgang von Goethe's Faust Part 1, and it's composed by Charles Gounod.
Okay, cool.
Originally done in French, but it's really, really good.
All right. Really quick pop culture reference. William Makepeace Thackeray, a novelist, author, and illustrator, used homunculus as a pen name.
Also a really good name.
The list of pop culture references honestly goes on. There's lots of actually just on the basic Wikipedia page of notes and stuff. But I'll land on one that you know a little bit more than I do about. It's been so long since I watched it, and I don't think I actually seen the whole way through. But Full Metal Alchemist.
I haven't either.
Okay, sure. So
Yeah.
a couple of novices, but Full Metal Alchemist at least does reference homunculi and obviously alchemy. And anyone who, anyone listening to this. Not to polarize our audience, I would say it's a pretty good chance they are somewhat familiar with Full Metal Alchemist at the very least. But I always loved the intro premise about the trying to bring their mother back, Edward and Alphonse Elric, and how they suffer horribly due to the law of equivalent exchange, it's called. And yeah, I just thought it was really cool. And I do remember you telling me recently, we were talking about this a bit off mic, but how there are homunculi in the series.
But I cannot confirm that.
Right, sure. We just kind of we're kind of tossing the idea around that some of the would they be enemies or antagonists or something like that they face. There's a series of them. So yeah, that's it. That's it for the lore. It's so looking at the differences. It's pretty obvious that there's so much more in the cultural lore and history, real life stuff, than there is in 5e, or like Dungeons and Dragons in general. I mean, it's cool that they have a place in it. After reading all of that, though, it makes me wish there was a lot more to them.
I wonder if it's because they're so similar to like gargoyles and golems that they just didn't want to muddy the waters there, but they wanted to give an option for like a really sweet wizard familiar.
Yeah, maybe. Now that being said, I didn't come across anything mechanically for them to. It stands to reason they could become a wizard familiar of some kind. Mayhaps you could look at, instead of wizard casts, find familiar, for example. Maybe they can use that to create a homunculus or something like that. And maybe you could, talk with your DM about being a more permanent basis or something. But it does. There does seem to be a certain lack to it. Now that being said, we have 2 stat blocks to look at because as far as an artificer goes, they do have a little bit more beef to them and they are more permanent familiar, but it's only for the artificer class.
Right.
So
I keep forgetting that they made that a real thing in 5e.
Yeah. And when they were, for 5e, when they were playtesting the artificer class, they had 4 archetypes. There was the alchemist, artillerist, archivist, and battlesmith. And the one that didn't make the cut was the archivist, and the archivist had the homunculus. They actually,
and it sounds like the best one.
And it was my favorite one. It was the one I wanted to play the most. But they sort of compromised, and basically all archetypes, the artificer as a base class gets a feature called infusions, so they can basically replicate magic effects or magic items via their sort of knowledge of the universe or physics or whatever. I don't think they really specify science, but that's the way I've always interpreted it. They have like a more mathematical or physics-based idea, and they're able to recreate magic through that. And the homunculus now stands as a universal infusion that can do. You have to be minimum level 6, I can tell you that, to be able to do it.
Okay.
But what's crazy about it is that as far as the 3 that they have for archetypes, only the alchemist does not standardly come with some sort of familiar or companion, if you will. But there's nothing in the rules, and trust me, I've read them over and over, that says that an artillerist can't still have their little artillery creature and a homunculus, and the battlesmith can't have their steel defender companion and a homunculus, which could make them extraordinarily powerful. Unless there's a rule I missed somewhere where you can't have more than one familiar, but even then they're not referenced as familiars. They are artificer creations.
Okay.
So first we'll cover the basic mechanics coming from the monster manual. They are a CR0 creature, and which I think is a first for us. They have an HP of 5, natural armor 13 AC. They are tiny, neutral, and construct. They do have a fly speed, 40-foot fly speed.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and they know any language of their creator essentially, but again cannot speak. And true to form, like any construct, they have immunity to poison, both the damage and the condition, as well as charmed in this for them, and dark vision and telepathic bond, like it's described, and it's pretty straightforward. And they have a bite attack. The bite attack does come with a DC 10 con save or be poisoned. Get the poison condition for 1 minute. And then there's also a failure by 5 or more, and the poison works for 5 or 1d10 minutes, and you are unconscious in this poisoned way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so there is a small chance that they could put you down and out. Again, maybe a bit of a spy or something like that could be used for. But otherwise, like pretty mundane and not much to them, not much beef.
I mean, that's pretty indicative of the cultural lore, right? Like they're not supposed to be beefcakes or bodyguards. That's what the that's the role a golem fills.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, for sure. 100%. Now we'll move into the artificer one, which is specifically called Homunculus Servant. It does have its own separate stat block in the Eberron setting book, and it has a negligible or unavailable or not applicable CR. Because it actually does kind of, to some degree, level up with the Artificer. So its HP...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, its HP is 100%...
Kind of like an animal companion.
Yeah, sort of, yeah. So they have, like, flat stats across, like, strength, dex, con, and all that. Their HP is calculated by adding their own con mod, which starts at just a +1, plus the Artificer's Intelligence mod, which is their spellcasting modifier, and the Artificer's level. So as soon as you're able to get it, basically... the minimum amount of HP at level 6 is going to be 6 plus a potential of 5 plus 1. So you're looking at about 12 HP, which is, a little more than double the CR0 homunculus.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, not too bad. There's still neutral, still construct. The fly speed is reduced from the original setback from 40 to 30. Not really sure why, but there it is.
It's probably just to keep up with the PCs.
Yeah. And language is the same. Poison's the same, although for condition immunities, they swapped out charm for exhaustion. Arguably, I would just probably include both for both.
Yeah, because they're constructs.
Right. So it definitely stands to reason that would be there. The Homunculus Servant does have an increase to dex saving throws, starting at a +4. So they do have a +2 standardly, but then they are obviously proficient in it. So it only pops up...
That is a weird one to choose, I would think.
Why would you say that?
Well, traditionally, constructs are slower creatures. I get that it's a nimble because it's on wings, but it's a construct. Why wouldn't you give its proficiency to Constitution?
Yeah, I mean... I have no argument against that. Absolutely none.
I thought you might.
No, I really don't.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm with you on that one. Did we finally agree?
Oh my god!
Especially after last week's episode.
The second wave of COVID is going to start tonight.
I feel like I'm with you on that. I mean, obviously they're not beefcakes, but they are constructs. So Constitution. I mean, I think if you look at like Pathfinder or Starfinder, maybe 3.5 rules, you're looking at more of they have construct immunities. So this part of me wants to be like, yeah, it makes you if it's a construct and you have to roll a con save, just forget it. They don't have to. Kind of like undead don't have to do fortitude and say Pathfinder or whatever, right?
Right. They're just immune to those conditions.
Yeah. I mean, but that being said, there's no reason to think that these things aren't a bit wily. So I don't think Dex is wrong.
No, it's definitely not the weirdest.
If anything,
the weirdest
it's
one
just
would
weird
be
that
intelligence.
Right. If anything, it's just weird that Constitution isn't included. Maybe both should be there.
It's an interesting oversight.
Yeah. And then in tandem with the Dexterity saving throw proficiency, they also have proficiency to stealth. They are tiny, nimble, I would assume.
Oh.
Okay,
so they're going down that road. Now that Dex save makes more sense. Yeah.
And they also have a boost to perception as well, which by the numbers is a double proficiency because they have a +0 wisdom, but they have a +4 to their perception.
Right, but it's not just them seeing it; it's the creator too.
Right, exactly.
So I think that would kind of count for that.
Definitely.
Like that extra +2 is the creators.
Yeah, and how I've been playing, I only just recently, I've had the option for a while, but I kind of was going for a flavor moment with my current character, who I've been able to fluidly use my checks between myself and the homunculus. The DM's been very open to that because you can see and hear through it, and we discussed like the length and stuff like that of options, like how far away does it be, and he ended up ruling that as long as you're on the same plane, it doesn't matter. As far as the senses go.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, as far as the senses go. There is another limit that we are coming up upon that's absolutely in effect, but as far as the senses
You should
go...
look at the Eidolon rules for the Summoner and Pathfinder and take some inspiration from there, 'cause they're really well done.
That's not a bad idea. Absolutely. So I mean, but it's to a small degree. It's like, if he's across town kind of thing, I can still, if it sees something magical, I can still roll my Arcana check and translate that, and it sort of can still speak for me. That being said, the DM's also taken liberties with control over the homunculus and even voicing it, giving it a voice that technically isn't in the rules, but it's been really fun. Because, and we'll get into it, there's a reason why, because the reason I created homunculus to begin with is very flavorful, and it's why I waited.
Well, specifically, so what I guess I'm trying to say is that ability to see and hear and use the homunculus senses for the Summoner and Pathfinder is a specific ability that lasts for a certain number of rounds per day.
Okay.
And it takes about a minute to start up.
Okay, yeah, all right. So that sounds much more balanced. Than 5e.
It also makes more sense. It would be very distracting to see through two sets of eyes at all times.
For sure, yeah. And 5e is so forgiving. Just lets you do so much shit.
That is correct.
So we'll just finish off the homunculus servant here. They also have a couple abilities. It doesn't specify the telepathic bond in the stat block, but I believe it says I'm pretty sure it says it somewhere in the descriptions. So like the infusion
it might
description
say it in
itself.
the artificer stat block.
Yeah. So they have evasion. So it's the usual, deck save, half if they fail, nothing if they succeed. They also have Might of the Master, and this is what keeps them sort of up to date as you level up. Basically, the following numbers increase by 1 when your proficiency bonus increases by 1. So the homunculus' skills, saving throw bonuses, and bonuses to hit and damage. So that deck save, or that dex saving throw will go up by 1. The perception of the self will go up by 1, and their damage and to hit will go up by 1. Once
I really like that.
It's very simple.
I really like that rule.
It's really good. Yeah,
it's really clean. It's really simple. It's one of the better examples of how streamlined 5e is, right. and really good job on that rule. Whoever wrote that, that's perfect.
Does it make you a bit frustrated when I first created the Cavalier in your game, and we were trying to figure out how to
yeah, because that's based on a combination of Pathfinder and Traveler and some other game. Right. I think it's what is the name of the game where it's like technological magic in the future, but it's set in a real gritty world?
Shadowrun?
Shadowrun. So it's based on a combination of those three systems. But this is way easier.
It's way easier.
It's a much better
You can adopt that pretty quick. Add, subtract, change things out. It's so quick. It's a very good basis for sure. Now, as far as actions go, they have a ranged attack called Force Strike. It's +4 to hit standard, 30-foot range, single target, 1d4 plus 2 force damage. That's it. Now, of course, that +2 will go up by 1. That +4 will go up by 1 when your proficiency bonus.
So it's a magic missile with an attack roll,
more or less, yeah, and just a single hit. And then here's the sort of beefy part that's very limited as far as range goes. Well, not very limited, but limited, in comparison to say telepathic bond. But they have channel magic, so they function like a familiar, more or less, like say through. I think warlocks can use this, maybe just. Familiars in general, but you can deliver a touch touch spells, through the homunculus, as long as it's within 120 feet of you, and it does take the homunculus's reaction in the economy.
Okay. Yep, that is correct in the Find Familiar spell, except it's 100 feet in front of you. I've got it open
Gotcha.
next to me now.
Cool. So yeah, that stands to reason. It's for all intents and purposes, it is a familiar. It just doesn't cost a spell to create.
Yeah, well, Find Familiar is a ritual.
Oh, is it ritual? Is that okay?
Yeah.
How long does it
it's a
last?
ritual.
What's the duration? of that?
Pretty much forever.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
So you gain the service of a familiar, whatever, the statistics of the chosen fiend. Rolls its own initiative. When the familiar drops to 0 hit points, it disappears, leaving behind no physical form, reappears when you cast the spell again. So the first time you cast it, you are technically bound to this familiar, and then from then on, it's just good. And all the other same stats as the homunculi, except you can dismiss this as an action and have it reappear as an action.
Okay, cool. Well,
I like this spell a lot.
Yeah,
I really,
it's pretty.
Now that I'm reading it, I really
probably
dig this spell.
underused quite a bit. Yeah.
My only problem with it is that it's a conjuration spell.
You think should be transmutation or something?
Well, I think the argument could be made because the alchemist is a transmuter. Like that's their third level ability is alchemy.
Right.
I get the conjuration aspect of it, but if you came to me and said, "Hey, I want to play a transmuter with a homunculi familiar," I'd be like, "Okay, this is now a transmutation spell."
Right. Well, I think that's where. Yeah, I like that because that's a good homebrew aspect. It's like it's one of those things where it probably shouldn't be homebrew. It should already be kind of baked in. You'd think that'd be part of maybe the description of Find Familiar, but it does seem to me that Find Familiar is more of a pulling something from a different plane and sort of enslaving it even, right? Whereas
so it actually says a spirit that takes on the form of one of these specific
right. So
animals.
you are pulling something from somewhere else and taking control of it. Whereas a homunculus, you are crafting and constructing it. And I think that's a really cool idea. We'd be like, hey, I am a wizard who takes the transmutation school as a specialty. Can I use this spell if I have the appropriate ingredients to craft a homunculus in its place as a transmutation spell? I would have a very hard time finding a way to say no to that.
It would be almost impossible.
Yeah.
Like even some of the familiar aspects have to be at least CR0.
Speaking of cool ideas, I have a mechanic honorable mention. And it goes back to, I did say it earlier, the Lord of Blades and his homunculi in the Eberron setting, named Hilt and Pommel. It doesn't...
Yeah, we need to acknowledge how great those names are.
They really are, right? There is an awesome picture of this NPC. I don't remember if he existed in or exists in the 5e setting. I would be surprised if he didn't. But there's a picture of him from the 3.5, and it's really good. I'll quickly show it to you.
Yeah,
so
that's sweet.
That's the picture there. That's from 3.5. That's on our Instagram. I did post that while I was doing the research on this. I'm
pretty sure that's what Alfonso was based off of.
Yeah, right. So super cool. Hilton Pommel specifically were crafted by this guy, and they were described as advanced homunculi. They were small in size as opposed to tiny, and they were, quote, sheathed in studded leather. One of the racial traits of a warforged is that they can don armor, but it takes them an hour because they have to integrate it with their body. And then it also takes them an hour to take it off, I believe. So there is that sort of caveat. But the upside is that it can't be forcibly removed. So you can't, if you capture a warforged, put him in prison kind of thing, you can't take the armor off of them, which is kind of cool. So these homunculi had that feature. So they were sheathed in studded leather armor, and they primarily helped their master to flank an enemy and use aid in other actions. And they were also granted the feat mobility to protect themselves from attacks of opportunity. And if they were destroyed, the Lord of Blades took 2d10 damage, himself being a CR13 creature with HP of 121.
Wow.
Yeah, and so beyond there, I didn't really write down like what their own stats were or what kind of damage they did and stuff. But I just thought it was a cool concept to have this Lord of Blades Warforged, who, by the way, his goal was to unite Warforged into either kill or enslave all organic humanoids, or I think it's people or like organic creatures of flesh. Was like the specific quote. So he was
Awesome.
he was a really aggressive dude.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah. So Hilton Pommel, mechanic honorable mention for the first time here on Encounter This for all your unique honorable mentions.
You heard it here first.
We haven't used that one in a while. You've heard it here first. Seguatious.
Segwicious. Love it.
But that's mechanically that's it. That's all I've got. That's all I get for 5e D&D lore, IRL mechanics, so on and so forth. I do have some homebrew or personal experience to go through, but I want to know what you got first, if you have anything.
Honestly, beyond the transmuter taking the homunculi as a familiar, I don't have a whole lot.
Right.
I love constructs. I love homunculi. I love the concept of alchemy and how it's kind of shaped our world.
Yeah.
The problem with the CR0 is that they're nigh impossible to use in an encounter, in my experience.
Right. Yeah.
It just, nothing about it seems worth my time, because it's one of those things that you would encounter on its own. Mm-hmm. And in order for that to be a viable threat to the party, it would have to be encountered on its own with something else.
Right. It does.
And you know me playing in my games that I very rarely use things out of the player's handbooks. Mm-hmm. I try to very rarely give villains PC abilities. Mm-hmm. So the idea of having a wizard enemy with a homunculi familiar is kind of beyond the scope of my imagination.
Right. It does seem strange that they have this in the monster manual, but no specific mechanic for it to be created and utilized for the players, unless it's somewhere in the DMG that I've missed. It doesn't really stand up because, like you said, it's basically negligible in combat as an enemy. Even a swarm of these things just would not really be a threat to a level 1 party.
And a swarm of them really wouldn't make sense.
Yeah. I mean, they're a good flavor creature. Maybe you do walk into that library and there's a wizard, but the first thing you encounter is the homunculus flying around doing things, and you're like, what the hell is that thing? That'd be fun, but it's like, why has it got a whole page to itself in the monster manual if that's all it's good for? There's got to be more to this.
Yeah, it feels like it should be at the back of the monster manual with like the blink dog and other shit. Like the blink dog doesn't have a full page, but the homunculi does. It kind of feels half finished, very similar to our last episode with the Yethhounds not having the huntsman.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So there is that general feel. We've come across it a few times here and there for sure, but I feel like especially just Yethhounds in this one really stand out in that regard. They do feel a bit half finished. We definitely covered it a bit in Hags too, where like, we could tell what they were trying to do, but they just didn't flesh it out in some of those like sort of flavorful aspects, and could have used a little bit more love.
And I get that it's on us to add those flavorful aspects, but I'd really love the stats of like an undead huntsman or an evil transmuter. Mm-hmm. Or, just call it an alchemist. Yeah. Like, just do the stats of an alchemist who's got a homunculi, and then later on he's got a golem.
Yeah. What I find strange is that sometimes you get a stat block like this, when you get a whole page, and there's a couple paragraphs, but it's like, you really could, all you really need to do is add a few more paragraphs of creativity and thoughts on how this creature function, and it's not gonna like imbalance your world. It's just going to inspire the people who use it, right? But there's just a lack of that. It only takes a little bit more creative writing added to the page, or another page, and it's that
Hags
much more.
Did it pretty well.
What's that? Sorry.
Where I think Hags did it pretty well. Where there was like how to beef up Hags in a little note box.
Yeah,
how to make them a coven. I think the homunculi excuse me, I think the homunculi should be like that. It should be an add-on to an alchemist.
Right. Yeah.
Like we should have the stats on the lore of an alchemist, and then here's how to beef it up. Give it this little homunculi, dude.
Well, I mean that's what we have, but it took us getting to the Eberron setting to get that. You know, these guys have been in the Monster Manual for since it was first released. You know, it's why wasn't that there? I mean, it's fine if they wanted to save homunculus for later or alchemist for later. Fine, but like why weren't these creatures considered for like a transmutation wizard or something like that? Why wasn't there a connection already put in?
Yeah. So my issue with that is that Eberron doesn't. So these monster manuals are based on the Forgotten Realms. Mm-hmm. So the homunculus exists in the Forgotten Realms, and Eberron is a completely different world.
Right.
So whether it's in the Eberron manual or not is kind of irrelevant. It's how am I supposed to use the homunculi in the Forgotten Realms and the Sword Coast?
Right, and
they
like
don't
you said,
give us a whole lot for that.
I don't think alchemy exists in Forgotten Realms. As a whole entity, does it?
No, it does. Yeah, it's part of the transmutation wizard.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
So,
again, you've made it even more specific as to why there should have been more available for the launch of this creature.
So transmutation wizard's second level abilities minor alchemy, and their sixth level ability is transmuter stone, which is obviously the philosopher's stone.
Right. Yeah. Well, damn.
And then after that they get weird. So I'm confused as to why there's not like just a straight up stat block of an alchemist.
Right. Shame on wizards. Hashtag shame on wizards.
Well.
No, oh God, don't do that. I'm gonna get in some trouble. On that note, this might be the latest we've ever done it, but this episode is not. But we wish was brought to you by Blackmail Stout.
Oh Jesus Christ! I forgot we missed the ad break.
We missed the ad break. We try to aim for around the mechanics time. That's sort of the general trend, but we feel it out. And I almost forgot. Actually, I that's so crazy. I feel like we just got so into this one. We genuinely forgot. I've been drinking hazy IPA.
I mean, you're saying all the right words to me.
Yeah, I've been drinking a hazy IPA this whole time. But I looked over and there was my can of Blackmail warming up to room temperature, which is not exactly the most ideal temperature these days because. My God, is it warm?
About 1,000,000 degrees.
Yeah, but it'll still be good and delicious warm.
Well,
and
thank you, strange fellows. Thank you, listeners.
Yeah, actually, I went straight down to the brewery today to pick this one up, so hopefully it's that much more fresh.
That's dedication.
It's a good bike ride.
Yeah, nothing says fresh quite like aged beer. Oh Christ!
So
well,
I'll so you have no particular experience.
I got nothing.
With this creature,
but I'm reading in the notes that you have a homunculus servant named Casey Jones, and I need that information.
Okay, so it's actually not named Casey Jones, but the reason I created it was because of a character named Casey Jones.
Like the character named Casey Jones.
So you met my friend Aaron. He's been playing in that campaign. He is in his own right. He is a nightmare and a blessing to play with. He's got very little attention span, and he struggles with creativity to a degree. And he's
also a wonderful Patreon donor.
He is a wonderful Patreon donor.
We do not want to lose.
He's used to my emotional and mental abuse, so we could say honestly whatever we want, and he'll maintain that donorship. But I say that now, but. We constantly joke about how it would be impossible for him to not play like a purely chaotic character, because he really constantly throws everyone for a loop. But he honestly does it in some of the most entertaining ways. And my buddy Max, who's so good at embracing so many types of players, he's absolutely incredible at it. And we're playing this campaign with 7 players. And sometimes it's a slog for some of us, but he's does his best, and he does a really good job of keeping it balanced. And we're currently about to go into a shift that involves more my character and Aaron's character and another one. But in particular, Aaron is playing a character named Casey Jones, who is a Moose-ator,
great name,
homebrew moose minotaur. Named Casey. He's from the this literally in Max's homebrew world, which he's been working on for years, and has been in there for a while. And he's from Kanahata, up in the north, and he uses a hockey stick called the Persuader as his weapon.
Is this just a screenplay for Kevin Smith's third movie, Moose Jaws?
And it's so good. And basically, his people were massacred. He's looking for his father, who went out for cigarettes years ago, and is like constantly running around causing problems.
We might need to cut your mic. I legitimately think this is just a plot to Moose Jaws.
it's I don't know. Aaron pulls, like I said, he struggles.
Please don't sue us, Kevin Smith.
he struggles with creativity, so he definitely pulls from all these different angles. So he's
Well, Moose Jaws isn't even out yet. That's the problem. He hasn't even secured funding for it. But everything I know about it is it's this movie. Except his father's played by Johnny Depp and Casey Jones is played by Harley Quinn Smith.
Amazing. So his immediate goal, he's basically obsessed with cake. Gets really excited. My character mentioned he had a birthday present for him, so he he immediately was convinced that it was his birthday. He's kind of the really large bumbling idiot who accidentally saved. I think he accidentally did something heroic. It was before I entered the campaign, and is now convinced that he is a hero because lots of people were calling him a hero, and he loves to give out his autograph, which my character now happily creates for him via his expertise in calligraphy supplies.
Okay.
So there's obviously there's a lot of layers to this. It's pretty ridiculous. But at one point I had promised him I had a birthday present that I was creating. And this birthday present was, in fact, a homunculus that I slowly took the time. It's again for the class. It is a artificer infusion. So I could have done it at level 6. I didn't create it till level 7. In fact, I'm pretty sure we're almost level 8, and I only just finally introduced it, more or less, like maybe 2 weeks ago from this recording. And I crafted it with what little knowledge I had of what his father might look like. And that's like the main thing. He's like, "Have you seen my dad?" That's what he walks. That's what he walks around. He just asks strangers all the time, "Have you seen my dad?" And so I've created this homunculus for a way to influence and control this really chaotic character. We've all found our ways to do it. And this is yet another one, and it's a little tiny moose. It has a fly speed, so its antlers flap. It's got a little hockey stick, so when it does its force strike, it shoots a puck. That forms out of force energy.
That's fantastic.
So on and so forth. And it's been absolutely hilarious. And so he calls it. It's his. He knows it's not his father, but it's like the likeness of his father. And somewhere along the line, he named it Junior Junior. And he calls it his father's son, and it's supposed to call him his son father in return. And so it's really messed up.
That's a really, really intensive bit. There's a lot of prep that went into that.
So much. And it's been weeks of development kind of thing. And so it's been absolutely hilarious. And so they skate around, ice skates and stuff as best they can. And it's great. It's a lot of fun. That's my experience with the homunculus.
Aaron, if you're listening, I want you to reach out and let us and the listening audience know, because I'm sure it's the burning question at the back of everyone's mind. Stephen Amell or Elias Koteas? Oh,
yeah. I mean, if I were to weigh in on that, it would be, what the fuck is that? So, what? Aaron, yes, definitely reach out and let us know. I don't know, because I don't know what he's talking about.
Oh, Elias Koteas played Casey Jones in the original movies, and Stephen Amell played him in the latest one.
I have no plan to ever watch the latest one.
It's really good. The one with Bebop and Rocksteady? Yeah, it's really,
by Michael
really good.
Bay?
Krang? I don't know if it's by Michael Bay.
With like
I sure hope it's not.
With the really terrible rap song theme? Like the really
I don't know.
One?
Is it the sequel or is it the first one? The first one's really bad. The sequel's really good.
I honestly don't know.
Shredder's played by an Asian man.
I've just like strictly
for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Casey Jones is a Ninja Turtles character. Belonging or invented by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird.
And he's awesome. No, I don't know. Although,
Well,
so
he's fine.
you know what? And I guarantee you that question, Aaron, until you explained it to me, I bet you Aaron would have no idea what the answer was. Aaron,
So in the 2 live-action
let
movies
us
where
know.
Casey Jones appears,
Aaron, let us know
the
if you had
original
any
one.
idea what he was talking about, and then answer the question.
it's like it's Stephen Amell's only other popular role other than Arrow. Sorry, other than the Green Arrow in the hit TV show The Arrow.
Sure. Also,
He's
haven't seen
really
that.
bad as Casey Jones, but that movie's not bad.
All right. I feel like I'm gonna take your word for it, but I'm still skeptical. I'm super skeptical.
You should be. You definitely shouldn't take my word for it.
Okay.
Don't watch the first one. The first one is horrible.
Right.
But the second one, I don't feel like Michael Bay is attached, which is probably why it got good, because I don't know what happened to Michael Bay in the late 90s, but his movies turned to shit.
Money always happens.
Sorry, early 2000s, I guess. If I'm not mistaken, he directed the first 2 Bad Boys movies, and it's hard to hate on those.
I do believe you did that. Yeah. Well, we all got winners. We all got losers. But today,
yeah,
Homunculus was a winner.
Absolutely a winner. And let us know what you creatures think out there in podcast land. Have you used a homunculus? Do you have any plans to use a homunculus? Elias Koteas or Stephen Amell?
I'll do an Instagram post on them.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, who wore it better? And at that rate, you can find us. Well, you can find Freeman on our Instagram at encounter.pod or .this. I think.
Yeah, encounter.this. Yeah.
Okay, if you want to get a hold of me, you can hit me up on Twitter at EncounterPod. If you want to get at either of us in a longer form, you can always email us at info@encounterthis. We both check the Facebook on a regular basis, facebook.com/encounterthis. As always, you can find us at our home on the web at encounterthis.ca. And if you like this episode and you feel like it's worthwhile and you want to hear more of this, or you would like us to do more full time, or you're interested in these side projects or anything like that, you can always find us at Encounter This on Pod on Patreon. For $5, you can get a handwritten letter. For $10, you can suggest a creature, like one of our latest episodes, the Nothic, suggested by @BoxcarBakes, and we have an upcoming episode suggested by @GeneralHamSolo on all platforms.
Which we're
So look
still
forward to
not
that.
revealing what that request is. Correct?
No, we're keeping that one under wraps because that's going to be a big
It's
one.
gonna be a big one. Yeah.
And don't hesitate to rate and review on all platforms, but Apple really helps us. Like, you would not believe how much rating and reviewing on Apple helps. Other than that, tell a friend, because we could use a couple more listeners.
We could always use a couple more listeners. It's always good to be. We don't speak for the sake of speaking. We like to think that our nonsense is entertaining enough for sometimes even the average Joe.
I mean, we're vain enough to think so, that's for sure. That's why we're doing this.
Get our fingers crossed at least.
More importantly, thank you for listening. We could not do this without you and without your support, and you have all been absolutely wonderful and supportive.
You're lovely.
So-
You're lovely creatures.
With that, we will wrap up another episode from our COVID suite where we are recording remotely. And we hope you are good.
And we
Things are
hope.
good.
We hope. Wow, you're so genuine. And we hope you're double fisting beer like I am right now. I can't wait to record the next episode because we're doing it pretty much
my
right
God.
away, and I'm feeling a little tipsy now.
Oh, thanks. Excellent. Perfect. All right. Bye.
Bye.